We were talking earlier about the missing lady in Paris, that had the accident. I think most of you probably heard about it. She had an accident, called in. I'm in a cornfield, ran off the creek, somewhere off 24. At one point, we even thought that she was in Delta County. I think Monday morning, early wee hours in the morning, most of my staff was out most of the night looking for this lady because we had some, we thought possibly, based on some of the information on the call, she might be in Delta County. She hasn't been found yet, by the way, and it was in Lamar County. If that had have happened to you, our resources, it would have just tore us up. Everything I have would have been committed to that. They're still working on it with that. And immediately you get that temporary assistance, and you get a lot of it from surrounding counties. But on that ongoing basis is when it gets more difficult, and it would have been a very, very difficult task for us to adequately provide because of resources. I got to call on other people to bring in helicopters and airplanes, and I don't have a lot of the tools that maybe even some of the other police agencies have that to do that. And I talked to the chief deputy yesterday. In fact, we talked about it, and he told me, or I told him, I said, it worries me if in fact we do have a lady out here who had a crash, who had a head injury, who is wandering around out there in a cornfield or in a pasture somewhere. If absent some of these resources, she died. And that's what, those are some of the things that we and guys, there's nothing we can do about this. I'm not complaining about it. There's nothing we can do about it because there's just so much money there that to provide those resources. And where there is some peaceful community, not a lot of business. There's some of that, the good things that come with that, but there's some bad things that come with that in those resources that we're talking about. We have had. I will go back and just tell you though that during the last couple of years, I think we have been able to do a whole lot for this county. When I started out, we had a jail by falling. In fact, I struggled. We had sewer under the jail and methane gas coming up in it. I really thought, if we'd have had the money, I'd have shut the doors on the jail, shipped all the prisoners out until we got everything fixed. Couldn't afford to do that, so we just had to kind of work through it. We had vehicles. We were in real bad shape. We had a couple of pickups that had been bought that were relatively new, but that was pretty much all I had. The rest of them were just limping along. And we have been able to, we're in pretty good shape on vehicles now. I just say pretty good shape. Most of them, our average mileage is way up, 140, 150,000 miles is our average mileage. But we do have several vehicles now. Now, again, we have to think outside the box a little bit. We bought some used vehicles from other police agencies. We had to kind of think outside the box a little bit in how to do that. But as I said, overall, I'm pleased with where we're at, with what we have. I think our job, I look at my job as being, to protect the lives and property and make this community safe. And I feel real good that where we're at right now, and I want you guys to feel good like that. I think we've come a long way in that regard. I will share with you the biggest problem we do have is drugs. In fact, I'm of the opinion, and probably close to 80% of our crime, all of our crime put together, is there is a relationship to abuse of drugs or alcohol. And what I mean is, that offense is drugs or alcohol. They were on drugs or alcohol when they committed the offense, and or they, particularly drugs, they committed the offense to buy drugs. Now, I told you guys we just this week made our 36th drug dealer arrest, but I want you to understand, we're not this mega drug capital in Texas. In fact, our problem compared to a lot of places is minor. We don't have $1 million drug dealers here. They're all over Dallas. We don't have those here. What we have, and it's kind of sad, our biggest problem comes from that person who gets addicted to drugs. You know, and what happens to that person is, and some of these are good people and come from good families, but they get addicted to drugs. You know, the next thing that happens, if they have a job, they're gonna lose it. And then they wear their family out trying to get money to buy those drugs, right? And to, you know, until the family is just through with them. And then they start stealing and they start selling drugs. You know, and the way they do that is they go buy 3 grams, sell 2, use 1. And that's probably, of those 36 drug dealers that arrest we've made, I anticipate that 30 of them are in that category. You know, that's what they're doing. They gotta have those drugs. And our biggest problem here is meth. You know, when I took office and I was campaigning, I heard about all these meth houses we had here, you know, where they were actually, you know, where people thought they were producing meth. I will tell you that doesn't happen much anymore. The meth that we're getting now is all Mexico meth. It's coming across that border, coming from Mexico. And that's what's coming in here. They can't afford to make it in comparison to what, you know, they can buy it for coming in here. I do not believe that we have, in fact, at this point, I'm not sure, I'm not of the opinion we probably have a single meth house. I think it's all coming in. We're seeing it come from Dallas area, we're seeing it come from Hunt County area. But, and as I said, we have really spent a lot of time focusing on it. But I believe our problem is relatively small as compared to what's going on across this country in surrounding counties. I think our problem is relatively small. It is a huge problem all over this nation. And you know, I don't know the answer to it. It's difficult. I need, in order to address it, the way we generally address it is through undercover people. That's how we're able to actually make these things happen. We bring in an informant, we go buy drugs, and you know, and it's a pretty, I mean, it's not an easy process to you know, to just go prosecute somebody. We have to video, we have to have audio, we have to, you know, we have to go through quite a bit of steps in order to have a good prosecutable case. In fact, we generally try to buy from a person twice, you know, and we use informants. Now, we have had a group out of Hopkins County's the task force, that Special Crimes Task Force, that has helped us quite a bit in this. And, but as I said, we've had, you know, I think quite a bit of success in it. I actually, here a month or so ago, we did have an informant who